looking to shake things up. I mean, I am the hope he changed the guy. So I understand people feeling frustrated and feeling we can do better. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you.
You already shook it
You
up.
said America's
You idiot.
and wants change from the Biden-Harris administration. And Harris just said she doesn't represent change. They don't have it this time, guys. Obama once said Kamala Harris was the best-looking attorney general in the country. He said she's Jamaican me crazy. Can he push his crush over the finish line? Feels like it's too late. Everyone knows Kamala Harris is Joe Biden.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
After she said that, she went on Colbert and somehow made it worse.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden,
I know.
and so that would be.
Well,
one
we don't
thing
know
in
that.
terms of- But also, I think it's important to say, with 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And
We definitely know that.
And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country.
Oh my God. Kamala has had 2 months to come up with an answer to one question. Who are you? The best she could do is I'm not Joe Biden and I'm not Donald Trump. That's it. The core question of this election is, how is Kamala different than Joe? They staged a coup because Joe is Joe and he couldn't win. You can't say you're the
Please
same
subscribe.
guy. She just said, I do all of the things that this terrible guy did. The same stuff. The guy that was so terrible we cooed him. But I'm totally different from him. But I can't put my finger on how. Kamala just went on television and said she's running for president because she's not Trump or Biden. I mean, we can go out on the street right here and pick anyone, and they have the same qualifications. CNN's not even convinced.
Vice President Harris has been asked repeatedly how she's different than President Biden, and some people think she's been tripped up by answering that. How do you think she is different than President Biden?
Well, first of all, whatever the differences is between them, it's not nearly as vast as the difference between her and Donald Trump. She's obviously a woman. She is a woman of color, and she is of a new generation.
Kamala's not
We don't
Joe
know
Biden
that.
because she's younger, black, and wears high heels. That's the best Democrats can do. He's a surrogate for the Harris campaign, and the only difference he can point out are biological. They can't answer the question because she's not different than Biden. She's just a machine politician that supported party bosses to get promoted. And she's been promoted all the way to the top. And she's still loyal to the party boss because she doesn't know any better. It's the only thing she knows that works. Blind loyalty. She's never had to do anything on her own. She's only had to say yes to get ahead.
God bless. Thanks for watching.
She's no different than Joe. They're just branding
Hit that
her
subscribe
differently.
and the bell.
The Democrats spent $1 billion.
You can comment,
to turn the
like,
page. A
or
new
dislike.
direction. Millions of dollars. on
See you next
signs,
time.
T-shirts.
Thank you to the new
And
subscribers.
she just lit it on fire. They say MAGA's a cult. What do you call this? She can't think of one thing she'd do differently than Joe Biden. Not Afghanistan, spending, the border. I can think of a few things I would have done differently than Trump. January 6th comes to mind. I'd do that differently. Kamala should try it. Pick something that didn't go well with Joe. Look around. There's plenty to choose from. She's too afraid to pick because she's just a puppet. The machine won't even tell her something to say about how she's different from Biden because it would make the machine look bad. They'd have to admit that they screwed up because Biden's just a puppet too. And Democrats can never admit they made a mistake because they've been lying about how great everything is.
Subscribe.
Kamala, who's been in power for 4 years, then said the American dream is gone.
the American dream right now is really elusive for far too many people in terms of even aspiring to own a home. It's too expensive.
I mean, if you're Obama, you have no choice but to step in. You send her to do interviews, not in the Lion's Den. You send her in to do The View, to do Colbert. And she says, I'm Joe Biden and I killed the American dream. The only thing different about Kamala was her accent.
Have you no empathy, man? You know, for the suffering of other people, have you no sense of purpose?
Was that a leprechaun? Was that Indian? Was that Jamaican? What was that? I'm getting so... I mean, Kamala Harris has now reached the beer drinking stage. Watch.
One of the old saws is, they just want somebody they can have a beer with. So would you like to have a beer with me so I can tell people what that's like? Okay. This was... Now, we asked ahead of time, because I can't just be giving a drink to the Vice President of the United States, but you asked for Miller High Life. You ready Miller High Life? I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
Okay, so cheers.
Cheers.
There you go. Ooh.
One sip, I bet she falls over.
Milwaukee,
The
Wisconsin.
champagne of beers.
There you go.
When female politicians start sipping beer on TV, that's when you know they're losing. And they're especially losing men.
That's kind of nice because it looks really dark in color, but it's very light. It is. We get a lot of them. They're like, cheers. Cheers. Right. That's good.
We've reached the pandering to the white working man phase. Next, Kamala will be driving a pickup, shooting pheasants with walls, probably throwing on an army helmet like Dukakis. A politician sipped the beer on a late night show. I've seen more edgier stuff on SpongeBob. These aren't even interviews. These are just opportunities to make Kamala look good. And it's not even working. The media is just trying to manufacture a moment for Harris. But you can't fake a personality with beer and accents. So they're turning to Obama. And this. Bill saw that and said, Hillary, get me some Doritos. I'm going to Michigan. Democrats are just throwing things at the wall, hoping it sticks now. While Trump's just doing his thing. He went on a podcast with a bunch of comedians, and here's what he said about Biden.
He has one ability I don't have.
Yeah.
He sleeps. He can sleep. This guy goes on a beach and he lays down on one of those, 6 ounce. They weigh 6 ounces and you can't lift it. They're made, and somebody convinced him he looks good in a bathing suit. And when you're 82, typically bathing suits aren't going to make you look great. But you're not going to be enhanced.
Yeah.
All right? It's just one of those things. I can't be sure about that, but typically,
Depends what he's packing. He could.
I don't know what the hell he's packing, but I don't want to know either. I don't know.
Now, what makes Trump interesting is that he's unpredictable. Kamala, you can see what's coming a mile away.
I do a thing called a weave. And there are those that are fair that say, this guy is so genius. And then others would say, oh, he rambled. I don't ramble. If I saw this story, what you do is you weave things and you do it. You have to have certain things. You need
Thanks for watching. More tomorrow. God bless.